Hello and welcome to Third Eye Thinkers. I am your host, Michelle Welch.
Hello, I'm your host, Megan Benanti. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Well, we're really excited today. Megan,
Yes.
do you want to just go ahead and introduce our great guest? I have to tell you guys, we're so excited about the guest we have on today, and people in Dallas have really been buzzing about our guest and are really excited. So
Yes,
why don't you go
so
ahead and
today
introduce-
we have Monte Farber and Amy Zerner joining us through Skype. And they are up in New York in the Hamptons, is that right?
in the Hamptons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and this is such a privilege for us to have them on board with us to talk about their new book, Astrology and Wellness. So we're real excited. And so for more than 40 years, Amy and Monty have combined their deep love for each other and for the work of inner exploration and self-discovery to build the enchanted world of Amy Zerner and Monte Farber. Astrology books, tarot cards, and oracles that have helped millions answer questions, be more mindful, find deeper meaning, and follow their own spiritual paths. Together, they've made their love for each other and a work of art, and their art the work of their lives. Their best-selling titles include Karma Cards, A Guide to Your Future Through Astrology, Sun Sign Secrets, Signs and Seasons, an Astrology Cookbook, The Soulmate Path, The Psychic Circle, The Chakra Meditation Kit, The Enchanted Tarot, The Enchanted Spellboard, Little Reminders, The Law of Attraction, Instant Tarot, The Truth Fairy, and Tarot Secrets and Quantum Affirmations. And today they're going to be introducing their new book, Astrology and Wellness.
Astrology for Wellness.
Yes, pardon me.
Yeah, and I tell you guys, that's quite the list there. You guys have been busy.
Maybe.
Yeah. It sounds like we're chickens laying eggs there. They're coming out really fast.
I know, and it's kind of a mouthful to spoon through them, but this has been over a 40-year period that you guys have been writing these, right?
Yeah.
Right. When you started when you were 2.
Yeah, I was going to say, she just outed you on that, didn't she? How long but you guys have been together. One of the things that I find so just lovely about you guys is your relationship. And you mentioned that, how that's your work of art. And could you talk about that a little bit? That's just amazing to me.
Well, we're sitting in front of one of Amy's tapestries, actually. You can just see the bottom of it. She's a National Endowment for the Arts award-winning fine artist. And she started putting her tapestries on the back of jackets about 20 years ago.
That's great. We love our work. We love each other. We've created a good life getting to do what we believe in, spiritually, creatively.
Spirituality works.
I love it.
I love that.
Yeah.
And you guys, I will say that when I met Amy in New York City last year, I decided, I was like, I'm going to get one of the kimonos. I'm going to get one of her beautiful pieces. And I tell everybody at my store, I'm saving. Like, I need a new car, but I'm saving for those beautiful, because they're couture. They're beautiful. Could you tell us a little bit about that, and then we'll get into the book?
I make them for beauties like you.
Oh, thank you.
Learn so much from the women that I create for, and that feeds me. And it goes back to psychology and how we feel about ourselves and our self-esteem and how we adorn ourselves. We put a lot of that information into our books.
And Amy's been at Bergdorf's and Neiman Marcus down in Dallas.
Oh, wow.
For 20 years.
Wow.
And she is on the couture floor at Bergdorf Goodman, the 4th floor.
Okay. Well, I didn't realize you were at Neiman's as well. So we've got you here in Dallas. That's great.
Because I believe they own both, right? So
Oh, okay,
I think they're, yes.
Okay.
Well, let's talk about this book, you guys. I love it. First of all, it is the buzz already, Astrology for Wellness, and I have it on my Kindle. We have ordered it for Soultopia. It's available, and I'm sure we'll let everybody know where all it's available. I know some people yesterday, some of my friends said they got it on Amazon. And so I read it, and I just want to tell you that one of the things that I love most about it is it really gives some specifics of how to really improve your wellness for whatever your sign is. And a lot of books will say that, but then they don't really give you specifics. They just kind of talk on and on. This book is chock full of specifics.
Right.
If there's one thing we don't like is when you go to a lecture and they say, and I'm going to tell you how to do this, and they never tell you.
Also, it's not daunting. There are little things that are very effective because, I mean, it's not like you have to do a detox program for 3 months or something. When, we know people don't stick to that and it's too hard.
Right. We just try and give you information that you can actually meld into your daily life in an easy way, because if it's not easy, if it's not fun, if it's not fast, who wants to do it?
Yeah. One of the things I really liked about the book is that you can pick up and just read particular sections, and you don't have to force yourself through the whole book in a sitting. And it's beautifully done. Amy, did you do the illustrations in it as well?
No, I collaborated with our editor and the designer for the book.
Okay.
Right. Yeah, I love it. One of the things. Go ahead.
On the cover.
So it's all things that have worked for us. We've kind of been on this path since we've been together for 40 years and investigated a lot of modalities, because of our own issues or crises in our own life, or things that came up that had to be fixed or remedied. So we've done a lot of research.
And like you go ahead.
I was going to say we address sleep issues, like the kind of bedding that's good for sleeping, because sleep is a big problem in the country, and we're trying to help people sleep. We even have snacks, tea infusions, crystals, cover the waterfront. And
meditations for different signs, because, in astrology, different signs rule different parts of the body. Like I'm an Aries, it rules the head. Monte's an Aquarius, it rules the wrists and ankles, and so there are different things to strengthen or to keep from getting, problems in those areas.
Right. I remember I read, so I'm a Cancer, and one of the things that really popped out at me is it said I really need to drink good water, and I just don't drink enough water. Another thing that really popped out just in the book to me is what you were mentioning, Monte, about the sleeping. My grandmother made old just beautiful quilts, and they're really, she would let us use them, and so I have all those quilts. And one of the things it said for Cancer, for the Cancer sign, is to things from family or quilts. And I thought, I need to get that out and put that because it's very comforting to me.
I love that. It's like little reminders, things that we might know, but once you're reminded of it, then you're able to do it.
It made total sense to me.
Yeah, well, and it's really great for if you look at this book and you're interested in like what foods you need to avoid or what you have to watch out for overindulgence. It hits the nail on the head. So as a Leo, mine was sweets and alcohol, and I was like, ooh, and just overdoing it, and I was like, yep, that's something I tell myself every day. So I need to cut back. Yeah, everything's lavish for me. So
I've been eating naturally since I'm 16. The way probably the way every farmer is, and it's really helped. And now I'm going to be 69 on the 22nd, and I'm really healthy. I don't take drugs.
When I met Monte, he was sort of on that path of eating naturally. There was only one health food restaurant in New York City in 1974.
Wow.
And so he got me thinking, and then we started getting massage. I started getting acupuncture in 1979. So we've really, done and tried a lot of things, some that work and some that don't work.
Wow.
Our favorite astrologer a lot about cell salts. I don't know if you ever heard of cell salts. There are different ways to replenish the minerals in our bodies. There's different ones assigned to different signs of the zodiac.
Right. I found that really interesting. That was in chapter 5, and you guys were talking about that maybe back in the 70s someone had taught, was it then back in the 70s that a friend had talked to you about that? And I found that fascinating and wrote mine down. How do I go about finding, like for Cancer, I'm not sure I can pronounce it, Calcarea florica?
I know. Just say number 5.
So yeah. So how would I go about finding that?
So they're sold in most, good health food stores or online on the one main company that makes them.
Yeah.
Maybe
Okay.
sort of like homeopathic that you just dissolve under your tongue. Can't hurt you.
Okay, interesting. Yeah.
Right.
It's always a good idea to consider the position though before you do any kind of like strenuous exercise or change your diet too much, because what's good for one person is not necessarily good for another person.
Mm-hmm.
Good advice.
Yeah.
Good advice.
So I was kind of wondering, when you guys decided to write this book, did this did you decide to like start based on like astrological date of when you should start and when you should have it completed by? Did you follow it that strictly? No?
No, we submitted the proposal to Sterling, and they fell in love with it, and they said, get it out as soon as you can. We want to release it on January 1st. That was the only time restraint.
Okay.
And I think, we get inspired, all of a sudden an idea for the title will come to us, in the shower. The shower's really good. Ideas. We got none of them. We're very clean.
Clean
You have to
thoughts?
be, because you've had a lot of ideas, a lot of inspired ideas.
Yeah.
I started getting embarrassed when you were reading all the books that we've done, but we love doing them. Those are our kids.
Yeah.
It's a great way to find out what you know, and it's not like we always know what we're going to write. I mean, luckily our publishers give us a lot of freedom, and trust. So it wouldn't be fun if we knew everything that was going to come out in the book. So I think it's an adventure when you write a book to see what pops out.
Oh, that's awesome.
I think it's so interesting to me about too this book. I love also. I used the affirmation today. Before I was a little nervous, you guys. You guys are so impressive, and just a little nervous in my Cancer and me. And so I used, the breathe in security and stability, and breathe out insecurity for Cancer. And
I did mine for Aries also right before, and I thought, God, this
That's funny.
Our company is live from New York.
So when you guys are writing, do you how do you collaborate on this?
I do what she says.
Smart
You're
man.
a perfect husband. Yeah. I love that.
I think we both do what we're good at, and we do it so much. I mean, it's a very intimate thing to collaborate, because you have to have that respect. Sometimes it's kind of funny. I say you don't have to change the word "the" in that sentence. He gets like, no.
Not the.
Yeah, I wondered how, as a married couple, that would kind of work. But you're probably right. It's just like, sharing a bed. You figure out how your bodies are going to fit in the same bed. This would be the same thing after all this time. So.
Well, it's our fun, it's our work, but it's our fun. So
Yeah, our work happens to be play, and our play is work. So it's kind of a seamless life where we talk about these things in a normal way, because we're both fascinated by life and how each other thinks and how other people think. You have to be really interested in people to do this kind of work.
Yes, true.
Exactly.
Very true.
Do you guys?
It's quite enjoyable to make a living, actually. So I get to be with this beautiful woman all the time.
And I get to be with this genius.
Aw.
Perfect.
Yeah, you guys are pretty perfect together, I have to agree. If you all haven't ever seen Monty and Amy in real life, I mean, they are like, they're coordinated even, and it's pretty awesome.
He dresses me.
In shades, in shades of violet, and black.
Yes.
And the only thing we do matchy-matchy is these glasses.
I was noticing that.
Oh, I didn't realize. Yeah.
I like them.
But you're always coordinated, even if you don't match exactly. I just feel like you flow from one being into the other. It's like the yin and the yang, the male and the female, but all one being,
We feel that. Yes.
that's part of our being well. You know, everybody has their own challenges, their own physical challenges, but there is a degree of wellness that is available to people if they're willing to take their life a little more seriously and have a little more fun taking their life seriously.
I think that spills over into relationships as well, where people get put off, if there's a problem or if things are work. I mean, in life, we probably wouldn't grow unless there were these challenges, or in terms of health, in terms of whatever comes up in relationships, but you have to learn how each other operates.
And we talk about snacks in this. We don't really go into the heavy duty health food or anything like that. But snacks are part of the diet of the average person nowadays. So we made sure to tell each sign what's a good thing to snack on.
And I loved it for Leo, which was like gourmet fruits and cheeses, the best of the best. I was so amused. I was like, yeah, that's me.
I thought about it. Around Christmas time, we went over to Megan's for a dinner party, and sure enough, they were these beautiful cheeses and the fruits. And when I read this in the book, I was like, this is so exactly right. But I like the fact that you make it real for people. This is a book you can really apply immediately when you read it. You immediately are going, oh wait, yeah, I've got that makes sense to me. This one is a good idea. Like the water for me, it's interesting that it was tied to my sign and tied to everybody keeps telling me, Michelle, you're not drinking enough water, and it just really is. I love how you guys. I know how smart you are, but how you made it for those of us who do not know astrology as well as you do. And it's a very approachable, readable,
user-friendly.
Thank you for that. User-friendly book. I absolutely loved it.
Well, thank you so much. I mean, we did do an astrology cookbook. We
Right.
try and do things. Amy is a pioneer about a whole bunch of stuff. One of the things is signs and seasons, which is now light kicking like crazy.
Well, and now that I've read on this book, I'm really prone to get that because for me, astrology is always something like generally when I would pick up something, my brain shuts down. I was like, oh, I'm really not meant to learn astrology. But I definitely want to get the cookbook.
I
When I
think.
was young and started studying astrology in 1972, the books were so archaic and dense, and didn't really apply to something that I could understand. So that's one of the reasons we started thinking about writing our own book, turning it into a different language that was accessible and fun.
I love hearing that. That's really awesome.
And it happens also in our store at Soultopia. The karma cards really sell. Have these on the desk today. The karma cards, and the Enchanted Tarot. Yes, and we have them here too. I tell you, I have to keep reordering those. People just love them, and what my feedback is that they can. It's user friendly for them.
The first deck. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was going to say we want people to order the books from their local bookstore. We are in the big stores, but we would prefer it if they order it from their local store.
By the way, your store is awesome. I've just seen pictures, and I'm so happy that it's thriving, and that all these subjects people are so interested in, more than ever.
Right. Thank you.
They're not going to get that kind of information at the big box stores because they can barely say, well, we don't have any books by Michelangelo.
Yeah, that's right.
So true.
So true. One of the things that I liked that you guys said, and I'm not sure if it was in the introduction, but it was towards the beginning of the book, Astrology for Wellness. You pointed out that we have so much technology and so much, and you made some comments about that. Could you tell the listeners about that?
Well, I mean, this book really is going to help you deal with the stress that dealing with text and passwords. I mean, passwords used to be the thing that would get you past the people with guns on the line in World War I. And now we all have a million passwords. Now age, everything has to be done now. Forget about the new age. It's the now age.
Yeah.
Right.
These are all ways in our book that you can be cultured and grounded, because it's so easy to get burnt out and overdue. you know, whatever, everything has to be done and processed immediately. And I just find everyone's very anxious with all the headlines they read. So we're very vigilant about, you know, what is toxic for us and what feels like, you know, the mind, body, mind connection. We must be aware and conscious about it.
And only artificial intelligence can navigate today's world perfectly. And people are very hard on themselves when they deal with the things that you encounter on an everyday basis here. And so there's this tendency to stress out. I'm not doing it well enough. And that's one of the things, well, one of the reasons we wrote the book is to remind ourselves.
Oh.
Each sun sign has different tendencies and different vulnerabilities.
That's really powerful, because that is something we see on a daily basis. And it doesn't matter how many times you tell someone not to stress over it or not to worry about it, or you tell yourself. It's just this constant of, am I enough? And not that we have to consciously think that, because, of course, being a Leo, I generally think I am enough, but more than enough. But, you know, it's this driving force of like, oh, I don't want to fail. Oh, I don't want to give up too soon. I've got to work harder. I've got to do more. I've got to push myself more. And so all of this, to balance that out, is super helpful to be able to look at, and to just hear that other people are thinking about us in that way.
Well, also for young people, it must be so hard to be a younger person nowadays. And that's at the back of our mind, we're making Astrology for Wellness, was we want younger people to get into astrology, the real astrology, because that'll help them to navigate their incredibly difficult life.
It's been so powerful for us to learn astrology, to share it, and it's a lifelong study. Ongoing, and completely fascinating all the time.
Well, that's beautiful, and I love that Michelle's going to carry it in her store, because she has a lot of young people that come in there.
That's great.
We are having people every single day, and we have 2 locations now, and we are having people literally every single day come into our store and say, I'm new. And I'm like, oh, well, you're not, you know, and we get into the fun discussion about what I'm new, you know, and they are wanting something like this, a book like this, where they can get started and not feel overwhelmed with, like Amy, like you said, the older books that were archaic and didn't apply to them. Yeah, and they're very young, and I will tell you, they're all stressed out. Almost everyone that comes in the store. Yeah.
And maybe they haven't learned yet how to discern, you know, what somebody else is for, what's the news media, and what's the parents' voice. I mean, that takes a while to mature and evolve. It takes, you know, daily practice.
Yeah.
One time when my nephew was young, his 5th grade teacher allowed me to teach astrology to his class.
Oh, cool.
I could hear a pin drop, because I was telling these kids about themselves and how to understand themselves better and how to understand their friends better. And
they loved it. They just ate it up.
Wow.
I hope one day that there will be astrology in the schools, and until that time, we try and make fun textbooks that'll help them.
We always say we kind of put the pill in the applesauce, so it's like the medicine and the sweetness, so that it makes it very palatable and easy to digest.
Yeah.
I love how you mentioned having astrology in the schools. I think it's wonderful.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's a great idea, and I think it's wonderful now that they're beginning to have yoga in the schools. And in the South, that is something. Maybe it's not new on the East Coast or West Coast, but that is a newer thing in the South. And
we don't have that.
You don't? Okay, well, we're starting to. And in the book, you even mentioned the yoga poses that apply to each sign, and you go into that, and that really resonated with me, because I had been going to yoga for, I don't know, I went every day for 3 years when I was going through a divorce, and then I just stopped, and it really jumped out at me on the page. It's like, I can at least do this. And one of the things it said for my sign, not only does the book tell you maybe this would be a good pose for you, mine are forward folding, has to do with the stomach also too, I think you said. But it's also that I might want to stay home, whereas you, Megan, as a Leo, you're going to want to be out there where everybody in the class. So it was really great because yeah. So it's it really just is very, very helpful in that way.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And I think most people will find what we did is that, oh, I'm already doing that.
And some good ideas.
Well,
yeah. Another
because you were ahead of the.
I thought that this.
Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry, Amy. You go ahead.
I was just saying that as you were talking about your store, that's such a wonderful way for you as a Cancer to express your nurturing. Because young people are coming to you for information, and in that beautiful environment, and nurturing them with this knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, thank you for that. Yeah.
She is actually much more of a nurturer than I think she's giving herself credit for right now. But I tend to think that she nurtures everyone. And so, if there's someone that she doesn't, she's being hard on herself, that she's falling short somehow. And it's like, do you realize how much you just gave out today?
Thank you for that.
So,
thank you.
So, you mentioned that Cancer with the stomach. So in our book, we go into, those places in the body where you might hold, your stress. Like Megan, you're a Leo, so that's back.
mm-hmm.
Monte, where you hold stress.
I hold stress in her. Stress in her.
I love crystals, and so there's also a chapter on what crystals are best for or suggested for each sign. And one of the things that came to me is, number one, what a great gift this book would be to give anyone. Mm-hmm. Just a great gift. Yep. And then you could even give with the gift. You could look at something, whatever their sign is, maybe for a birthday gift or something like that, and give a crystal or essential oil or something. I think there's so many ways to apply the knowledge in this book.
Yeah, you can really make a full package of it. And since we have it on the table, the Enchanted Tarot, I just wanted to mention this was the first deck I ever picked out for myself, good 18 years ago. Yeah. It was the one that called to me from the shelf. And I really have enjoyed working with it. And I'm glad to hear that it's still thriving almost 20 years later. So that's pretty
because
neat.
This was the 25th anniversary edition. And we do this also. We just reorder it. And people, it's interesting because they'll come in the store and they can get it in Barnes & Noble, some of the big places, and Amazon. But they'll come in the store and they're so attracted to the beauty of it. And they just want to get it immediately. Mm-hmm. I mean, and I open up the cards and let them feel my cards and see how beautiful they are. And so your products, and I know they're your babies, but they, and I said products, but they really are very, people love them. People love them. And actually, we had somebody calling the store today saying, when are they going to be in Dallas? They thought you guys were coming in. I'm like, well, watch the show. Maybe someday Megan and I will get you guys to come to Dallas. But
I know. That'd be so much fun.
You're the only.
Never know.
You're the only two people that probably would get us on an airplane.
We'll work on that. We're persuasive.
I ran into you guys in San Francisco one time at the Bay Area Tarot Symposium.
Oh, yeah.
Bats.
Oh, yeah.
Bats, but that was what, 15 years ago?
Yeah, it was a long time ago. Yeah. So.
Yeah. We have been so busy we haven't traveled in over a decade.
I think,
oh wow.
When I started with fashion and we keep doing our books, it kind of keeps us home, but we like that.
We sort of have our own train that goes from our house to Bergdorf Goodman and back.
That's a deal.
So, as far as people wanting to reach out and connect with you, what is the best way for people to do so?
Well, our names are, we have our websites are on our names, like amyzerner.com, montefarber.com, and together it's theenchantedworld.com.
That has everything that we do.
Okay, great.
It has all the books and the clothes, and Monte does psychic readings and astrology readings. all available there.
Oh, cool. And do you want people to sign up with and connect with you on Facebook too, or is that a private?
Yeah,
Sure. Yeah, and Instagram.
Okay, excellent.
names also.
Yeah, we try and keep it simple. You know, we use our names, and now we have a new Instagram, the Enchanted World Books.
Oh, cool.
Okay, good.
Great. Okay, yeah, and it's easy because like you can't forget your names because they always are together. So.
But I'm an Aquarius, so I might forget my own name.
Oh, that's okay. That's okay. So is there any last little bit of wisdom that you would like the audience to take home with them?
Well, if you have a relationship first, and then it'll work out. That's what we do.
I think it's in terms of, stress is the killer. Stress is the thing that we all have to work on. So if you see something, say something for another person, you're doing them a favor.
Yeah, and so
beautiful.
get the book Astrology for Wellness because that's going to help.
That's
So-
Absolutely.
good advice. Thank you.
We can't say that though. You can.
Yeah, yeah. No,
I will
we
tell
definitely
I
can.
will be recommending it to everyone, and actually getting it as like I said, as gifts. It's a great book.
Yes, and people also do write. If you enjoy the book, please go on to Amazon and write a 5-star review for them because that will also help their sales and credibility.
Oh yeah, it's so easy to write a review. I did that this morning, and it's just an easy thing to do. And we appreciate you guys so much. We know you're so busy. Thank you so much for your time today.
Absolutely.
Seeing you too.
Yeah, it's a pleasure seeing you
See
too.
you at Reader's Studio.
Yes,
Yes,
we
we
will
will.
be there, and my husband will be there with me this time. So you guys will get to meet Roger.
Cool.
Yeah, he's a Scorpio, so here we go. Right?
All right, if you guys want to stay on the line for just a minute, we're going to wrap up. Thank you all so much for joining us on Third Eye Thinkers. If you enjoyed today's show, please give us a 5-star review and don't forget to subscribe. We want to give a special thanks to our producer, Matt Stoker, our guests, Amy Zerner and Monte Farber, and all of you guys listening today. Thanks so much.